What is up, hotties? Welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot, brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're doing any sort of sports betting or DFS this NFL season, make sure that's where you're getting all your action in. I'm Blaiden Kirk, of course, joined by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash, here to recap Week 9 of the NFL season, and what a week it was. We just watched the Seattle Seahawks put belt to ass against the Washington Commanders, and you know, we saw the Steelers beat the Indianapolis Colts. My girlfriend's a Steelers fan. I was telling her, I was like, I don't know if this might be a tough game. Your defense has looked rough, and you're going up against one of the greatest offenses we've ever seen. And they did a good job of stifling them. We'll talk about Daniel Jones a little bit. But before we get into that, and of course, some of the other games, Packers beat the Panthers. Oh,
Panthers
you
beat
have
the
lost. Oh, yeah, Panthers beat the Packers. I misspoke.
I was excited there for a second. I thought maybe it was all a bad dream. It was all
a bad dream. But no, Theo, you lost the Stay Hot war.
I know, it's complete and total victory against me. I was fighting a war on two fronts, and I lost both fronts. Don't call me that name, actually. How was Halloween weekend for you guys as well? This was kind of a legendary weekend, I feel like. Halloween and then the World Series, which had tons of aura.
Yeah.
I watched it.
This was an aura-filled weekend, sports weekend.
And then Ohio State's receivers went absolutely nuclear against Penn State.
And you were there?
You were at that game.
Yeah, I didn't do any Halloween stuff. I instead went out to the Ohio State game with Dad, and they looked phenomenal. I mean, Sayan is a beast, dude. He does a really good job dealing with pressure, and he's incredibly accurate. You get home from a game like that, and you watch some of these other quarterbacks, and you're like, thank God for Julian Sayan, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. The average college quarterback is the worst player and person currently living. So he's the Heisman favorite right now, which is crazy. But I think in betting odds he is. And they've got an easy schedule up until Michigan. And then I'm assuming it'll be him and Mendoza. It's looking like what it's heading to as 1 and 2 in Heisman odds until like the Big Ten championship game, if both of them can win out, which it seems like there's a decent chance that's how it could go. So it could be setting up for something pretty exciting. But yeah, Blaiden, the receivers at OSU are crazy. Tate and Smith is the best duo they've ever had as long as I've been alive. Maybe way back when they had something better. But even with all of the first round picks and guys dominating right now in college, they've never had it better than Tate and Smith. That catch that Smith had was ridiculous. It was in the corner that we were sitting in, so I got a really great look at it. Just the ability to like adjust to the ball like that, to bring it in with one hand and then to land back on your feet and immediately turn upfield and get in the end zone. Smith is as good as like any Ohio State player I've ever seen. He's unbelievable.
And we say this every year, right? We're like, every year it's like, oh, dude, this is the best duo.
JSN,
Ohio State,
Garrett Wilson, like these guys were gods.
It keeps being true.
Yeah,
Garrett
and it keeps
Wilson
being
and
true.
Chris Olave was awesome.
It really does keep being true. Yeah, Jeremiah Smith is a different animal. You talked about it, Matt, in the group text chain, is just how big he is, and that is so
huge.
True. Watching his
people
freshman
kind of
tape,
sleep on this.
As a freshman, that's what really stood out to me. Like, it was him and Ryan Williams, right? And Ryan Williams is very slight, and he's small in stature. And then you look at Jeremiah Smith, and his hands are huge, his feet are huge. Like, all the width to all of his limbs he just looks heavy and strong. And he's 18 years old, and then he's taking the top off the defense and running ridiculous routes and making ridiculous catches.
Yeah, I mean, 225 is what he's listed at. That's giant for a receiver. You don't really think about it, but
yeah,
I mean, if
that's AJ Brown. That's AJ Brown.
You go to any given combine, I mean, there's like maybe one receiver who weighs that much, and they're like some sort of like pseudo tight end. Like Johnny Wilson will be 6'6" and weigh 230 or something like that.
Colin
and he's
Johnson was 6'5", 237.
Yeah, like he's super well built. So he's going to go crazy high. Carnell Tate should be a top half first round pick pretty easily. Now maybe he won't be because we have to be dumb and underrate every Ohio State receiver except that one time, to be fair, as it stands right now. But yeah, it's super, super exciting. And they've got a really good chance to go back to back, man. I mean, Arvell Reese is a monster. He's going to go super high. He, to me, is like a Jalen Walker who has a little bit more juice as an edge rusher, in my opinion. I think like his ability to convert speed to power and his ability to like bend around the edge. I don't know if Walker's quite got it like he does. So I'm pretty excited for him and how the draft process goes. But Ohio State was not the only thing that happened this weekend.
Did you watch? You watched Game 7, right? You watched.
Absolutely,
Dodgers,
I watched
Game 7.
I watched Game 7.
You watched Game 7. You learned who Shohei Ohtani is now. You know.
The first thing that I noticed was, and my girlfriend's a huge baseball fan, so that's really why I was watching. She was like, "It's Game 7. Turn it on right." I'm like, "Okay." And I'm like, "Is that Ohtani?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How tall is he? Like, he's enormous."
Speaking of a guy with a big frame, yeah.
I'm like, he's towering over every other player on the field.
He looks like he's chiseled for Barnbull. Like, he is a specimen. He really is. Like, they didn't even pitch to him in that Game 7. It's just like they're not intentionally walking him, but it's like these balls are so unhittable whenever he's up on the plate, just trying to limit his impact however possible. Good plan. Almost got the Blue Jays the win, making other people hit, but that's got to just be one of the worst L's ever. If I can't imagine there are many Blue Jay fans with the appetite for a sports podcast this week. I would just take a break for like a good month, maybe, just to like focus on other areas of your life, because to be up 3-2, series coming home, leading the whole game, there's a situation where the bases are loaded with one out. Like, it just, no one has ever gotten closer and not brought it home.
Oh, there's been other times in
Grand Slam. I thought we were like, I was like, oh, dude, it's happening.
There's been a couple other times in baseball where a team's been like right on the cusp of winning it, and then they blow it and blow Game 7 too. It's not completely unheard of, believe it or not. I think the Red Sox did it back in '86 or something like that. I was looking into it. I was trying to think of an NFL comparison for it, honestly, and
it's not quite 28-3.
No, it's not. It's not 28-3. 28-3 is different because it'd be like if the Blue Jays were up like 7 runs in the 9th inning and then lost from there or something like that. They had a very good chance to win it and didn't quite get it done by like an inch on a couple of plays or by like one hit, needed to go, 10 feet farther or whatnot. The Falcons had the game won and then lost it. It was one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history outside of the circumstance. Like, even if it wasn't in the Super Bowl, just by points and how quick it was. So it's not quite that.
It's more 2024 Chiefs when they went back to back after the Eagles Super Bowl. They played the 49ers, and that game was very
I said
tight.
It was like the first. The first time that the 49ers lost to the Chiefs, because think that was a game where it was like late in the third quarter. They went up 20-10. That's not the game won, but it's a pretty good situation. And Kansas City had only scored 10 up to that point. Then KC gets right back in it. They score 2 touchdowns, 24-10, or now it's 24-20, I mean. And still the 49ers have another chance to go win it with 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and Garoppolo misses what would have been a throw that puts them in the lead. I feel like that's more similar. As a team that hasn't won since the 90s against like a budding dynasty. Yeah, I think that's a valid
NFL terms. I watched it at a sports bar with 3 other people who are all from LA. And so I found myself rooting for the bad guys, honestly, just because of the energy at my table. But the catch, dude, when those 2 ran into each other, it was Hernandez and I can't remember the name of the other guy who ran into.
The second guy that came in saved the play because the first guy overran the ball. I'm like, oh, he lost it. He doesn't. I'm like, this is gone. They're gonna score. It's game over. The other guy comes in, snags it. I was like, he just saved that
crazy.
play.
He became Megatron. How often in baseball do you have to make a catch like over somebody else? Like that's kind of the whole point, is that doesn't
Not often. You're
happen.
supposed not to run into each other.
There's no defense besides just yourself and your own guys in the outfield. So to make a contested catch when you never should have to make a contested catch is very impressive. Very impressive.
But it's a good heads up play that he like noticed that his teammate like lost the ball. Because that's like I thought for sure that was gonna end the game there.
But yeah, that was a very entertaining series overall, and just a very entertaining like last 2 rounds of the playoff, maybe the whole playoffs, I guess. But I watched more baseball this postseason than ever before, and I feel like a lot of people did that. I think this is a very
baseball is not a bad
postseason for
sport.
baseball.
It's just a brutal structure to the regular season and whatnot. When people call it boring, I think it's entirely that. And they've sped it up a little bit, which is good. So it's probably some of that as well.
For sure.
That's not the only awesome, amazing, miraculous win. Or I guess I wasn't really cheering for the Dodgers, to be completely honest with you. But there was another miraculous victory, and that was by my Carolina Panthers, Theo, against your Green Bay Packers. I just want to say, and I hate to call you out, but you did say when the Panthers got the ball, when it was tied 13-13, we're fine.
Yeah.
We weren't fine.
No, we weren't. I try to keep that mentality, is we're fine, and I don't want to overreact. And then I try to say that to myself, like that I'm trying not to freak out when we're losing to the Panthers. Like, we can still win the game. We can still have a good season. But when you say those things we were not fine. All right. And then I was overconfident. The Packers were not fine at all.
This was a glorious win. It's the best win the Panthers have gotten in who knows how long, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, the Packers are really good. The Panthers were massive underdogs, 13-point dogs. That's like not super common to be that long odds as a 500 team in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Those odds were too long. They were too long, but
yeah. And you know, it was just a weird game, and it just to take the Panthers to 5-4, especially when I don't know what they're going to do for the rest of the season, but it's definitely feels like, okay, we got a winning record like halfway into this thing now. Yeah. We could sneak into the playoffs if we keep, you know, making some magic happen, but this was a glorious win. I don't think that Carolina played a particularly perfect game. This wasn't like the Panthers came out and just like totally nailed everything and made good of every opportunity, honestly. But the Packers probably screwed up even more than Carolina did with like the dropped Jordan Love interception that probably could have been a pick six, or the really bad Bryce Young interception that we'll say the wind affected, because it was a windy day.
That's not good though, if the wind affects your throw.
No, it's
that's not a good. That's not a good excuse. I saw some people say,
"You guys should
show that the wind took it." Winds take like wiffle balls, man. They don't take footballs thrown by
they don't take darts.
Strong-armed quarterbacks.
And like the Packers did a pretty good job driving on the Panthers for most of the game. It felt like the Panthers were playing super soft defense. Derek Brown had a big game. It was maybe a little bit tough to run in between the tackles at some point, but it felt like on the outside, the Panthers not only had like a deficit in terms of like linebackers with crazy range who were going to get out there and go make something happen, but also if you're playing your corners way off or whatever, then there's just more room. And I feel like Green Bay was able to bounce a lot of stuff outside, or a lot of screens that they had worked. But they settled for a couple of field goals, and then they missed another field goal, and then they fumbled the ball.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Love threw an
hamburger of the year.
Unbelievable hamburger. Truly, truly the hamburger of the year. I mean, it got caught like a punt. And it was already double coverage, and it wasn't even caught by anybody who was double covering because it was so short.
Yes.
I should have gone and listened to like the press conference he did after the game, because I'm sure they asked like, what on earth was he possibly thinking there?
I think here's what I think he was thinking. I think he was feeling the pressure from Derek Brown, because Derek Brown hit a nasty push pull and then got an edge on Aaron Banks. I think it was the left guard. And I think Love just turned around. I think it was after play action, had the pressure, or he stepped up into the pressure And I think he's so sack-pilled. Like, I think he's just so hyper aware of, like, a sack is just as bad as a turnover. And thought, well, I'm ready to throw the deep ball. I don't have time to think of anything else. And I don't want to take this sack. It's basically the same as an interception. So here we go. And then he threw it. And yeah, it was hamburger of the year. It was if he wanted to find out if interceptions and sacks are the same, he did find out. Because
the thing is that the one he threw to Michael Jackson on 4th and 8 was probably even worse, honestly. I mean, I understand it's a slightly different situation in the world where it's like it was a broken play or it's like a scrambled drill. And it's like, well, you have to put something up, but good Lord, when the screen turned over there and it was just like Mike Jackson, like nobody else anywhere close to him, it's like, okay, well, you don't have to give the Panthers a beautiful opportunity to make a pick six. It actually can be worse than just like throwing it away, believe it or not. It didn't end up like getting on that, or that didn't end up happening, but you know,
Derek Brown blew up that play too. That one was he's phenomenal, wicked rep from
him. An unbelievable player. But I'll say this: the Panthers didn't necessarily capitalize on any one of those individual like mistakes by Green Bay, and they didn't necessarily avoid mistakes themselves. I mean, they had a missed kick off of doing a Key and Peele bit after a touchdown that completely changed the game. Cool.
Yes.
Okay. No, it was only 2. Dude, that's not real life. That's the show. It's fine. It's fine because Rico Dowdle is the GOAT, so he can get away with it.
Rico is the GOAT.
He is the GOAT. But what I'm trying to get at is that the Panthers limited the number of possessions beautifully. The Packers, for the most part, didn't get a bunch of deep shots, so they'd put together these drives that end up in 3 points that take like 5-6 minutes or whatever. And then the Panthers themselves, look, they weren't throwing the ball all that well. Bryce has these end breakers he can throw with anticipation that are great always, but outside of that, it wasn't a whole ton. But they ran the ball themselves very well, even with an incredibly injured offensive line. They cannot get healthy on the offensive line to save their life, but it has not stopped them from running effectively. That's in part because I think they have good depth. It's in part because I think the tight ends play a big role in that. Shout out Tommy Trimble again. I think he had a great game. And it's in part because Rico Dowdle, even injured, went out there and played awesome. He runs with such great tempo and patience and vision. He gets the most out of everything. It's really hard to appreciate having a running back who has plus extra vision, who can see things where, you're watching it back and he sees it before you do, even though you're the one looking on the computer from a bird's eye view or whatever. But he's really like that. So I think it was just limiting the number of possessions and then making it happen towards the end, with Green Bay making a ton of mistakes and the Panthers making slightly fewer. That's what got it done to me. Yeah. And also Derek Brown having a monster game and Rico Dowdle being the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, the Packers, they only had one drive, and that was the drive with the pick that didn't end across midfield. And even the pick did end across midfield because by the time he intercepted it and got tackled, it was across the 50. No, but every other drive, they were past the 50, and they went to the red zone, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. They had a drive that stopped on the 25 and one on the 30 as well. And just didn't get enough points out of all those opportunities. I mean, why didn't they kick the field goal on 4th and 8? I don't know. 4th and 8 is a long way to go. I feel like I like that they've been aggressive this season. I like aggressive LaFleur, but that one, I don't know. And McManus just stinks, man. He's 3 for 8, something like that, kicking outside of the red zone this year, in a year where every kicker is capable of in a league where every kicker is apparently capable of incredible feats, and 60-yarders get hit every single week but one. And in fact, we have another kicker on the roster who has made one of these 60-yarders. To get just such shit special teams play and kicking game play from McManus, it sucks. It is so bad. The Packers could be undefeated if they made their kicks, the Browns game and the Panthers game were lost directly because of missed and blocked field goals. So yeah, I think that's very fair to say. And that's why I'm not like, I don't know how to the degree of which I'm freaking out.
You should freak out.
It's not good. It's not good, and Tucker Kraft might have a torn ACL, and that's where
Tucker Kraft going down probably definitely more important than the loss itself. But you should blow up immediately.
Yeah,
I can't believe they won this game, if I'm being completely honest. I was going to come on here and do a bit about like how they doubted us, even though I picked against us in the locks or whatever. But like, I just don't have the heart to actually do it because I cannot believe that they won this game. They are scrappy and feisty. I've been saying this for ages, that they're scrappy and feisty or whatever else. And I've been ironic about it, but it is true. They are.
What do you think of the Packers play calling in this game? Did it strike you as odd? Did it strike you as inefficient? Did it strike you as like LaFleur didn't know what he was doing?
I kind of took this as a weird one. I thought that like maybe teams are trying to avoid. I thought at least the Panthers are trying to avoid airing it out because of the wind. I'll be real with you. The play calling that I was focused on more so than what Green Bay was doing was how the Panthers were defending them on these like short yardage situations where it's like, look, I understand Michael Jackson is like a little bit, he's a cornerback too. He's vulnerable, right? 4th and 3, you can't play him 9 yards off. You can't play. I mean, they did this several times where they gave up first downs to the Packers where it's like they're not even really going out there and having a chance, right? So and I thought like Green Bay here is just going to call up something where like everybody is short and then you're going to have to pick and they're going to throw to whoever. And that's exactly what Love did. But you clearly have some thoughts about Green Bay's play calling.
Oh, that's just been the central storyline for the team this year, is just like how bad LaFleur has been and how bad the play calling has been. And it's an idea that I've been pretty resistant to. And then today they lose, and it, of course, makes you think about it. I think they could benefit more from more aggressiveness and really handing the keys to Love. I sound like the Broncos fans right now, which is why I've been resistant to it. It's like, bro, the shit has worked. You know, they're going into this game. They have one loss. They were the 1 seed, and they're the number 1 passing attack by EPA. So it's like, I just don't think it's as big of a deal as people say. But especially with Kraft out now, I do think some things are going to have to change. I do think that they're going to have to throw the ball a lot more. And I don't know if that'll go well. We'll see, I guess. But they don't have a particularly efficient run game. And I don't think it's LaFleur's fault. Like, I don't think he's a bad guy for trying to lean on that. I think Josh Jacobs is our best player on offense, well, outside of Kraft. But he's really, really good. Like, you want to hand him the ball, get down to the red zone, and Josh Jacobs is the guy you want touching the rock. Like, he's just absolutely money at finding these little creases and making jump cuts in tight spaces. And he's elusive out in the flats. Like, the guy is someone you want touching the ball a lot. Like, he is one of your best players. And it's just the guards aren't good one-on-one. Like, Rasheed Walker isn't a great run blocker either. Like, honestly, Kraft is as good as it gets run blocking on the Packers. It's like we lost our best offensive lineman. You think Zach Tom, when he's running a combo block, is trusting Sean Ryan or Jordan Morgan or whoever's playing left guard more than Tucker Kraft? No. Tucker Kraft is better at those blocks. Like, he's so good on his feet. He's so good getting on the second level. He's got crazy grip strength and always gets his hands fitted in the right place. Like, his torque is wild. Like, running behind Kraft is really, really effective offense. And running the ball has not been effective for the Packers this year overall. So now it's like, well, there's no Kraft. Musgrave is a terrible blocker. He's not a good yak threat either. He's more of a route runner. So, like, if he's going to be your primary tight end now, it feels like you've got to be more like more vertically oriented and more willing to throw the ball as opposed to run it, and more likely to, let Jordan Love drop back. And I think that I guess my hope core for the Kraft injury not sinking the season is like, well, maybe the Twitter people are right and we should have been throwing more this whole time. And this is the thing that's going to make that happen. And it's actually going to be a positive change overall. Like, this This is going to shift our play calling tendencies in a way that's an overall positive, even though Kraft is not out there. It's not like there's nobody left to throw the ball to, like there's Christian Watson has looked really good since coming back. Like Romeo Dobbs is what he is, but he's a fine option. Like eventually they'll get Jaden Reed back. Matthew Golden could and should be more involved in the offense. I think Dontavion coming back. I can't remember off the top of my head, but this Kraft slice of the pie is gone, but there's still, options, I think, to get it to. And I do believe that Love is still a really good quarterback despite the meatballs today. So I'm trying not to freak out again. I wish we had a big space-eating defensive tackle. I wish we had Derek Brown, Matt.
Too bad.
I kind of see why he was off limits in the Parsons deal, to be honest with you, just because you can kind of bypass Parsons if you're just running power away from him, and defensive tackles just can't prevent linemen from getting to the linebackers, and they just are getting tagged instantly, and there's huge creases everywhere. Like, I wish we had. It sucks so bad that Clark had to get traded and it wasn't just another pick, because I feel like he was our defensive tackle that was best at just kind of refitting his body and protecting the linebackers from these scoop blocks and like just being a obstacle, right? So to keep the linebackers clean, because we just don't really have that guy right now. And yeah, there's definitely plenty of negatives, but just make your kicks, make your field goals. And this is a really, really, really good team. And maybe the other kicker is better at doing that, or maybe McManus can get healthy. So that's my cope. Panthers, always a tough out for us as well. I looked it up. Since 2015, Green Bay, they've played 6 times, and Green Bay has only covered the spread once. I feel like the Panthers always give us trouble, and that one kind of was a confirmation of that. But
interesting.
Congrats on the win, Matt, and congrats on the win, Blaiden. And just fuck me, I guess.
Well, hey, silver lining for me this week, the Browns didn't lose.
I guess not.
Not yet.
I've seen a lot of people say, well, they lost to the bye week. Like
I think you said that even on the
I did that in the locks. I was like, I'm locking the bye week against the Browns.
I know that joke goes platinum in Ohio every year.
Oh, it does. There's like there's just like a screenshot of 34-13 bye week Browns. Yeah. So it's the same bit. They stay. It is what it is. But yeah, Matt, congrats on the win. Panthers moved to 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, we'll get into the next matchup in just a second, but real talk real quick. Every fan base has that spot back home. Maybe it's a diner where you watched your team draft your star quarterback. Maybe it's the bakery that fuels every tailgate. Maybe it's the sports bar where you've cried more than once. Those places, they're the neighborhood, right? They're where community rallies after big wins or events after blown leads. And when we support them, the whole area thrives because money spent locally stays local. Square powers millions of those neighborhood businesses, the places that feel like family. So go support yours and then visit square.com/go/stay hot to learn more. Square. See you in the neighborhood. Should we talk about Sunday night?
Yeah. Now the Seahawks don't quite look like frauds at all.
No,
do they?
No, they look great, dude.
I have to say, I'm a little confused how JSN put up 130 yards. In the last episode, frankly, I did read the YouTube comments, and every single one of them was calling me fat because I had JSN as my offensive player of the year over Jonathan Taylor. Now, I'm not going to speak on this Jonathan Taylor performance because I did not catch Steelers versus Colts, and I'm assuming the 45-yard game that he put up was not his fault, and that for whatever reason he was not able to access his MVP blast and hit the Steelers at full strength. What they did to him, I don't know, but I will say this. JSN is unbelievable this year. The Seahawks passing game was phenomenal tonight, albeit Washington's defense sucks, dude. It sucks, man. I mean, it's tough because Darnold had a lot of like really good throws. The one to Arara was nuts, man. Like
Nuts.
that was cash. And Darnold, the thing with Darnold that you're always worried about is like, is he going to get panicky when there's pressure? Because I feel like that's been a big part of the thing that he's overcoming throughout his career. And it's still like, yes, a little bit. He doesn't look as calm as, like a Mahomes or an Allen, who we'll talk about later. But even in this game, he had some moments like that flip forward he had to Charbonnet was awesome. And outside of that, like, I just feel like Darnold's touch is incredible. Like the way he can place throws. He had another one to JSN on the sideline where JSN turns up and there's not a lot of room there. I thought that was cash. So I'm super impressed by the Seahawks passing offense. I'm super impressed by JSN, who another game by, still on pace for most receiving yards in a single season. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't hold up. Honestly, like I kind of expect it not to, of course, like because we've seen it so many times, like y'all brought up. But they've got a good number of weapons there, and they've got a true 1A crazy guy right now. They're a big time threat.
Yeah, Torrey Horton also played a great game. Had the 2 touchdowns early. He can run away from people. He's fast, man. He's big.
He is.
He had a great release. Like he can really climb on top on some of these deep posts and corners. Like, and as bad as the run game is, and as much as K9 just can't get going, and Charbonnet, like he can batter and bruise a little bit, but he's not super efficient either. As much as that's true for those guys, like the play action game still cooks. And that is just what is so historically good. It has just erased all the pressure from Darnold. It's made everything really accessible over the middle, and he's just not missing anything deep. Like him and May this season are just unfathomably good throwing deep. Like they just do not miss. They just do not miss. It feels like when so many quarterbacks go deep, like 90% of the time it's just overthrown. Oh, it's out of bounds. It wasn't really catchable. So for Darnold to just consistently put the ball right in the breadbasket on these deep throws, like almost every single one this year is like that. It's got to be like a 60% success rate minimum. That's a stat that I should have right now. But it has felt maybe a little bit unsustainable at times, like the amount they're reliant on play action and that kind of thing, and getting in 12 and rolling like that. And is it a little bit fake at times? Maybe, like you said, Matt, this Washington defense is like crazy bad.
Wow, they're bad.
They're so really, slow really and bad. Old.
Everybody is so slow on this team. I mean, like you said, Horton, he's just like running away from guys entirely. And it's like, well, okay. And they were making a good point on the broadcast where it's like they're not getting pressure straight up, right? So they got to blitz, and it's like they don't have the guys to cover anything if they're sending extra men to go get pressure at all. So, I mean, the big story from this game, as much as anything, not to trample on your point if you have something else to say. Yeah, Jaden messed up his elbow, and I mean, if he's out for an extended period of time, obviously Washington's season is done. I think it's pretty bleak regardless with how bad their defense is. Like, what is the ceiling with this team? It's not even really probably making a run in the NFC. Not anything meaningful, but Daniels getting hurt, especially like when the game was kind of already sealed, brutal. And I think they're quickly moving towards being a team that's planning for next year more than being somebody who you tune into and say like, okay, what can you do week to week? You're muted, Theo.
But I'm sure you're spitting.
And the concerning thing about that is how good of a young core is this really? You know, like they're the oldest team in the league and the season is over. Like they don't have young pieces that you're really excited about on the defense at all. Terry McLaurin is going to be 30. Debo's on 29 or 30. Like he's getting up there too. They just don't really have the nice young pieces that you'd expect. It's really just Jaden. Like Jaden is the nice young piece, and he's gotten hurt, and then he's come back, then he's gotten hurt, then he's come back, then he's gotten hurt again.
Right.
And
this was a concern that we talked about coming out of the draft too. It's like,
oh sure, I mean, everybody's concerned with it. It's brutal.
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to like victory lap that. I'm just like, it's concerning that it's happened as much as it has. I think the play that really summed up how bad their defensive situation was that touchdown to Cody White, where he's just like literally wide open, and then they've got a shot to like, they've got one guy left to tackle, and he just like throws his like left arm out and like just lands on the ground. I'm like, oh my God. It's like the worst tackle attempt I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they just do not have the athletes on the back end to be in a good position to tackle anybody, and it just results in attempts like you just mentioned. Just terrible stuff.
Like, I think I could have made a better tackle attempt than that.
Packers, call about Daron Payne.
Call about Daron Payne.
Can we have Johnny Newton? I don't even know if we want Johnny Newton, but yeah, I'm out on the Commanders through such a long
3-6.
They're 3-6. Yeah, they're terrible. They don't have any young pieces on defense. Like, I just think, how much longer is Dan Quinn gonna stay around? Like, there's a lot that I'm concerned about. This, not just that this season is over, but like they're just long-term prospects. They're just not that good. They're just not that good because Jaden is supposed to be the only hope, this MVP candidate guy, and it just, I don't know. We're not going to see him anymore. And yeah, it's bleak. It's bleak.
3-6. They've lost 4 straight. They play the Lions next week. Then 2 weeks after that, they play Denver, and they still have to play the Eagles twice. It's just not looking good for them.
Yeah, they could have a top 5 pick easily. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Seattle still looks like they could very well go to the Super Bowl. Their defense is great.
Is there a team you like more than them in the NFC? I think I still like the Rams more, but I think I like the Seahawks more than the Packers.
I think the Seahawks are more complete defensively than the Rams are. Their secondary is definitely easier to get excited about.
Yeah.
But Stafford is insane. Stafford might be the MVP right now. Him and May are probably the front runners.
Did you see his no look today? I mean, you've seen.
Yes, dude. I mean, he's just a freak.
He's unconscious. So I'd still put the Rams as my top contender in the NFC. And the Eagles, are they all the way back after the last 2 wins? Maybe. But the Seahawks are definitely top 3. They're definitely ahead of the Packers in the pecking order after today.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody separated themselves from that pack just quite yet. You guys want to move on to Kansas City versus Buffalo? I mean, this was probably the big build matchup of the weekend and whatnot.
The game.
Yeah, man. The game. This is the AFC Championship rematch that people always get excited about. I guess my main question coming out of this one is, how concerned are you about the Chiefs' pass protection as it currently stands? I know they have a backup out there, but
I think that this was a heavyweight fight. I think that no one should be quite concerned about any specific aspect of either team after this game, but like the Bills' pass rush was more impressive to me than like the Chiefs' pass protection was bad, if that makes sense. Like the day that Joey Bosa had, and the fact that they're the best pressure rate team in the AFC this season, like coming into this game, and that has nowhere to go but up after this game. Like the Chiefs' pass protection fell into a trap that has gotten a lot of other offensive lines this year, which has been this pass rush even without Ed Oliver in this game, right? But Rousseau picked up the slack, and Bosa was obviously incredible. So it's not so much like concern, like, oh my God, the Chiefs will not be able to pass protect. They will not be able to win the Super Bowl with this offensive line. Like, that's not really my thought. My thought leaving this game is like the pass rush for the Bills actually has juice. It's had juice all year, but the back 7 didn't really hold up their end of the bargain. Like if Hairston's going to be a real player and Cole Bishop can lock up Rashee Rice one-on-one like that the rest of the year.
Cole Bishop had a great game.
Like all of a sudden I feel completely differently about the Bills than I did 2 weeks ago. Like completely. So that to me is the big story of this game.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought the big story was a little bit more about the tight ends and how Kansas City struggled to deal with them so badly. Bishop did have
Yeah.
a fantastic game, and Hairston had a great interception and whatnot. And what I thought was overall a pretty good Patrick Mahomes game. I mean, the pick was bad, but he was under big time pressure for sure. But like, man, he had some great moments in this one, even where it's like he's just the best scramble drill player quarterback that there is in the league, right? And his ability to like make a decision so quickly after a player like changes the direction they're running is impossible for defenses to deal with. But I thought Buffalo did a really, really good job anyway. I thought as much as anything, like what killed Kansas City is that Kincaid was just so hard for them to deal with. And when Buffalo's tight ends, because all of them ate a little bit here, right? Like Knox had that one where it was a screen and then he went out and Hayes caught one and Kincaid obviously had a whole bunch of work. When the Bills are getting you with their tight ends like that and your linebackers are struggling, I mean, you run into the issue where it's like, how do you solve it? Do you go lighter to try to get guys who can stay with them? Well, then they're going to crush you in the run game because really a lot of these teams just want to get big and crush you in the run game. No, you got to stay big to match that. And if you try to zone up, obviously, Allen had a great night tonight, and he's gonna get you there. So
Yeah.
this is sort of I feel like it's the ultimate goal of the Bills' offense is to do what they did tonight, obviously winning the game and putting up 28 on a decent defense. But
they love to get in those duo friendly looks, single back with everybody real tight, and it just feels like, well, James Cook is going to pick up 5 yards on duo every single time is what it feels like. And then the play action off of that is like, well, Josh Allen is going to pick up 20 yards every single time. So it's
especially
pick
when he
your
has
poison.
Kincaid out there, dude. Like I almost forgot how freakishly athletic Dalton Kincaid is.
He is fast. He's fast.
So fast.
And Kincaid isn't even really like that duo guy. I mean, for him, it's spread out, make him the number 3, and you've got Drew Tranquil guarding him or a safety, and he's just too fast. So it's like they can live in both of these modes, where they can play James Cook mode. It really is the running back, like James Cook mode, under center, get downhill, like play action off of it, or you can play Ty Johnson mode, get in shotgun, have 5 out in the route who can all catch passes. Well, maybe the receivers can't, but the running back and the tight ends sure can. And then you're just impossible to sack still, even when it's 5 in the protection. It's just those offensive linemen, like you're not getting by those all-stars, plus actually bringing Josh Allen down. The receiving problem, I haven't forgotten how some teams have been able to just take away some big plays, it feels like, by just not letting them get up the sideline and playing man. Chiefs didn't quite have the linebackers to make the Bills play that way today, it seemed. So I haven't forgotten some of the Bills' struggles, but it does feel like they've found some juice on the back end, which makes me feel a lot better. A lot better. If Trey White isn't the most important guy in the secondary, like that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge. Do you think the Bills should be the favorite in the AFC right now?
Should the Bills be the favorite in the AFC? I think so. I would have told you the Chiefs, and that was a pretty convincing win at the end of the day with the pass rush. So could have gone either way. Like the Chiefs got very close, but at the end of the day, a touchdown win is a touchdown win against the Chiefs. And this is the first time ever Mahomes has ever been held under 50% completion. So it wasn't that good of a Mahomes game by his standards. Obviously, he's still dangerous, but yeah, first time ever. And just a weird game, game for the Chiefs. So I think the Bills have to be the favorite, especially with the way the Colts looked. Blaiden, did you catch the Colts game?
Dude, I did catch the Colts game. Daniel Jones turned back into a pumpkin just in time for Halloween.
Not quite.
Not quite after Halloween.
Several days.
But no, this is concerning because I would have told you the Colts were the number 1 team in the AFC to really watch for. I've been saying that. I'm like, if they're going to have Jonathan Taylor be playing like an offensive player of the year, MVP caliber player, and they're going to have Daniel Jones be able to play football like a real quarterback instead of like his New York Giants days, then yeah, that's the most dangerous team in football. Their offense is basically unstoppable. And then they ran into Pittsburgh, whose defense has not been good this year, but they were able to force 6 turnovers. One of them was a muffed punt. 5 turnovers from the Colts offense, and they sacked Daniel Jones 5 times. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people try and defend this Daniel Jones performance. I think at least 4 of these turnovers are entirely on him. And one of them, the one that got batted up in the air by Peyton Wilson and picked off by Jack Sawyer, Buckeye legend. I think that one's less on him. I think it was a good play by Pittsburgh. The Colts were running an RPO, blitz Peyton Wilson, so you can't hand it off to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
And you're forcing Daniel Jones to throw into the blitz. And they've got Ramsey closing on the route that he wants to throw to. It's not a good look to begin with. Like they just matched up really well on that play, but also like in 2025, we've got to be like not like understand that he's gonna jump up and try and tip this pass. Like this is what makes like Lamar and Stafford and Allen different, is like they have ways to get around and have these crazy arm angles, and Daniel Jones doesn't have that, right? This is why he's not like actually an MVP caliber guy. But then he had like 2 strip sacks where it literally gave me flashbacks to when he was on the Giants. I'm like,
yep,
just the inability to feel the pressure coming. I get the tackle lost, and you can say the sack is on the offensive line in that instance. I'm willing to concede that, but protect the football. That was his biggest problem in New York, is he would never feel these edge rushers, and they would just strip the ball out of his hands. He would just be cool, calm, collected, and all of a sudden the ball's on the ground. And then in one of them, he even had like a pocket to step up into, and he just didn't. And then the 2 interceptions were just, or the 3 interception. The 2 interceptions, because the Jack Sawyer one was technically a pick. The 2 interceptions that he actually threw were just absolutely atrocious. The first one was, I mean, literally just threw it straight to Peyton Wilson. And then the other one was, it was curl seam, I think, on both sides of the field. Josh Downs kind of was like off his line on his route a little bit. But like Alec Pierce curls up, he's got space on this curl. And if Daniel Jones puts it on him, it's a completion. And he just like throws it upfield, throws it on his upfield shoulder, and that's where the defense is. And so it just like lands right in the defender's arms. I'm just like, it's just terrible interceptions and terrible strip sacks. So
can't have those.
Can't have those. I mean,
cannot have terrible interceptions. Can't do it.
And you have 4 awful turnovers.
And you have a bunch of turnovers.
You're gonna lose those games every time. So like they're still capable, and I almost want to give some criticism to Steichen. Like,
100%.
Like, why not just give Jonathan Taylor 25 touches in that instance? You know,
I definitely think they could have gotten Taylor more involved. Like they just kept the game in Daniel Jones's hands, and that's what they've been doing this year. Like on 2nd and long, they throw the ball. Ball. Like it's just been kind of a splash of Jonathan Taylor this year. Like he hasn't been the entire offense. He's just hit so many big plays this season, right? But they're very pilled into going for it on 4th and passing it as much as they can and keeping that pass rate high. Like today, they stuck with that mentality, and on 4th down it really worked. But it felt like they were kind of losing a handle on this game and could have used a few more Jonathan Taylor totes. 110%. On the RPO, I get that it's a blitz. Maybe just hand it off to Taylor anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was kind of
maybe
like,
just if it's an RPO, we stink today as a passing game. Like let's let Jonathan take us from here. I 100% think that it called for more of that. And also like play action was a little bit rough in this game. And I feel like some of their sets were just too deep. It didn't feel like Pittsburgh was respecting the play action threat at all. Like Alex Highsmith was rushing high side. Jones is doing a play fake. Like he shouldn't be doing that. You know, that's going to get you strip sacked every time. So it didn't feel like they did enough to get Pittsburgh out of this mode where their ears were pinned back, but they were still trying to run some play action stuff which just put Daniel Jones deeper in the pocket. It made him hold the ball longer. And you're totally right. Flashbacks to the 19 fumble rookie season, Blaiden, when the word internal clock was mentioned with Daniel Jones every single game. Like he was crawling back there.
To me, it's not even a clock thing, because some of these like wins, like the first strip sack, I mean, TJ Watt wins around the wins against the right tackle like immediately. Like it's a very good play by Watt. You cannot sit there and just
bring the ball back.
Bring the ball into your stump. Like, you have to feel it to some extent. And that's, I still think he's missing that a little bit. I'm also looking at, they played the Broncos week 2, and Jonathan Taylor had 25 carries and 2 receptions in that game. That's another good defense, like another game where like you needed to lean on Taylor a little bit, and it paid off. I don't know why they just sort of refused to do that.
You do gotta lean on Jonathan Taylor.
You do. Even Matt can
I'm not
can admit
we can't let jokes and banter frame me as an honest to God Jonathan Taylor hater. Right. When I'm a hater of someone, I'll let you know. But yes, even Matt will say Jonathan Taylor is good and should touch the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, he had some incredible runs today too when they did give him the ball. It's like, wow, nothing was there, and he fell back and jump cutted and ripped off a 12-yard
9 yards out of a 1 yard loss.
Then they'd pass, and then they'd fumble, and then that'd be the end of that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Good job I thought this was a good job by Mike Tomlin as well, making some adjustments on defense in this game. Like they moved Jalen Ramsey up to safety, which had been kind of a talking point all year and all preseason since the trade happened. And today they messed with it a little bit with some mixed results. And then on third down, he was guarding Warren in man coverage. And he stopped a couple of those like easy button Warren in the flat type plays that the Colts tried to get to. Like he just came downhill and blew him up because he was the Warren stopper on third downs. And some teams haven't paid enough attention to Warren, but you can't say that about the Steelers. They actually had a good coverage plan today. It felt like more 2 high shells, Ramsey moving around the defense. And guess what? When the secondary is doing stuff that makes sense and not leaving Jamar Chase one-on-one, guess what? This is a pretty damn good pass rush. So that's what we like to see from the Steelers. Colts allowed a lot of quick hitting plays, guys getting upfield after the catch way too easily. Bad game from the linebackers.
Not surprising.
And yeah, shout out Darnell Washington. That's about all I got.
mean, the Steelers scored off of almost every one of these turnovers. So just bad.
They're an interesting team right now, the Steelers. It feels like might be where they're at their best all of a sudden, is they have no expectations once again because the Ravens have Lamar back, and
that's true.
They just won a game, right? And it's like, oh yeah, Ravens cruise into this division title. Like, forget about the Steelers. That's exactly where the Steelers want to be. The second there's expectations, they'll fall off. But now people just expect them to lose the division. They'll win the division. They're winning. They'll win the division now because no one expects them to.
They very well could. I was very concerned after they lost 2 straight, allowing 30.
I mean, that Packers loss was bad. That was a terrible loss. I mean,
just unbelievable, dude. But a win against the Colts, that's huge, man. I mean, because they needed to be absolutely spot on, and they were on both sides of the football. Like, I'm giving a lot of crap to Daniel Jones and his performance, and he wasn't good, but like, the Steelers forced some errors, and that deserves some credit.
They play the Ravens week 18. Week 18.
They play the Ravens twice still. I mean, this division is still very much within hand. The Steelers cannot afford. I don't think they can put this division in the hands of those 2 games. They need to, like, if they get to a point where it's like 6-6.
It's just going to be tough because you don't have control over that, right? I mean, the Ravens, as of right now, are within striking distance where, like, they're 3-5. The Steelers are 5-3. So, like, hypothetically, it'd be 5-5 a tie, right? With everything else.
Sure.
And, like, the Ravens don't have necessarily a schedule with nobody left on it. I mean, the Vikings are a wonky team. Browns, Jets, Bengals is probably a pretty favorable stretch. But you get the Patriots and the Packers still in there, right?
Patriots, Packers, Steelers to end the year is tough.
Yeah. But they don't play anything where it's like, they don't play some like unwinnable schedule where it's like you can start counting up the losses. They could very easily rattle off 4 in a row here if they were to truly lock in. That's not an impossible narrative, although it's also far from a guarantee. We see thinking too far ahead this season has been not fruitful when it comes to these type of record predictions.
But they can beat the Ravens. Like, they can beat the Ravens.
Right.
Tomlin is 4-3 versus Lamar
I'm just
Jackson.
saying that, like, I don't think they can get it to a point where it's like they could blow both Ravens games and beat. That's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure. But they got to beat the Ravens, and I do think it's possible this year.
They just got to go 1-1 against them. Honestly,
if they can get
one-on-one,
you would take it. And like, I think there's not a ton of silver linings with the Steelers this year. Like, there's just not a ton to look at and be like, this rocks. Broderick Jones is still a bust. Latu had him in hell today. Their collective weight of the route runners is thousands of tons. Like, they got Freiermuth, Washington, DK, and Jonnu Smith all releasing downfield. I'm like, who's taking the top off? I guess DK. But like, this is just a lot of bull.
They've been getting Darnell Washington serious touches.
He had fucking Jamar Chase usage rate today.
That's
serious.
That's awesome.
Like,
yes. The defense, like, this was a great game. Shout out. But like, no Steelers fan has glowing things to say about the defense this year yet. Like, there's just not a lot of units where it's like these guys kick ass all the time. But the same thing is true for the Ravens outside of Lamar Jackson. And this is the worst Ravens run game that we've seen. They versus the Dolphins on Thursday night. I thought Lamar played well. He looked good in his return. Like, he had 4 touchdowns, 0 picks. It's obvious to see why everybody thinks the season will turn on once he's there. But like, they didn't really have a receiver who could get past the press coverage. And they couldn't really run the ball. Like, it was kind of an ugly 4 touchdown, 0 pick game, if you can imagine such a thing. Like, it's just they're just not as high powered as they have been in the past. Like, maybe old Ravens teams could have hung 70 up on the Dolphins or something like that. I just think, like, the Steelers have done some damage against better versions of the Ravens when they were worse versions of themselves, and that's still true. And so maybe they can go 1-on-1. Maybe they can go 1-on-1. Steelers bros, This is how Tomlin can still win.
I'm not as down on the Ravens. Look, I mean, I guess when you're playing Miami, anything less than like 200 rushing yards on 7 yards a carry is pretty soft, right?
Yes.
But this was still a pretty dominant offensive performance from Baltimore. And a lot of their rushing struggles across the year is just like Lamar being out. That completely changes the math on everything. It might not end up being the best version of them, which, to be clear, like, that was the goal, right? It seemed like in the preseason, you're like, why wouldn't they be? And a lot's gone wrong, but I'm giving them a little bit of time.
I give him a little bit. And Kyle Hamilton is the GOAT again. So,
yeah, bro, as a Sam linebacker is nice. Put him by the line of scrimmage. Good things happen. It's funny that last year moving him to free safety saved the season, and this year moving him to edge saved the season. It kills me.
They just have if they can just figure out in the preseason where they're weak and just put Kyle Hamilton there week 1. That would save everything.
He's in at guard. He's
in at guard. Yes, we're replacing Daniel Falele with
He'd
Kyle
probably
Hamilton.
be better. He'd probably figure out a way. He was living in the backfield, dude. Like, he like, genuinely, as a Sam linebacker, that's kind of the same shit that TJ Watt plays, you know? Like, they were kind of playing the same position. And like Hamilton's run defense tape is that good. Like he just looks like the best defensive lineman in the league in the run game when he's down there. It's very strange that he's also just the best center fielder in the league.
Not strange at all.
No, it's not really that strange. It's pretty expected from him. I don't know how I forgot him when I talked about football Wemby. I said Mean Joe Green. I said Julius Peppers. I said Calvin. I was thinking about Jonathan Ogden and Eric Dickerson. Some just like really unique frames, like really highly touted prospects. I guess that's where
Hamilton would definitely.
Where Hamilton wouldn't have come into the league with the same sort of like expectations because he went in the middle of the first round instead of the top 5. That's where he didn't qualify.
Well, yeah, because the 40 time people were like, he's.
Yes, but he really was that kind of prospect. So I should have expanded my thought process. I was only looking at top 5 picks when I was trying to think of football.
6'4", 218.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Play every position on the field. My goat. Why does he have to play for the Ravens, man?
The other strike against the Ravens and a good thing for the Steelers, Lamar hasn't had his yearly flu either. He could easily miss. He could easily miss one of those.
They'll be up against
games.
1.5 quarters of healthy Lamar before he throws up on the sideline because
he's running.
He's got a nasty cold, and then
he has overcome his hamstring, but he has not yet overcome the weather changing. So there still could be some missed Lamar games.
His flu shot reportedly, and
he has not. Yeah,
I'm willing to put my life on the line that Lamar does not have a flu shot right now. Yeah. Maybe they make him do it. Maybe they make him do it these days, but
they tie him
actually
down.
The flu shots actually make me sicker. I swear to God.
Maybe he gets his flu shot like right before the game.
They give him the flu shot,
and then he's kind of feeling
and then third quarter comes around. He's like, not feeling too good.
There might be some germs inside me.
Be some germs.
Is there any other game that we want to hit?
I watched the Lions-Vikings game, the return of J.J. McCarthy.
I thought he was all right. I thought it was a lot of painting around the edges here with him, right? A lot of stuff in the flat or stuff towards the sideline. I thought his deep balls down the sideline looked very good. I know they're not the most difficult throws to make, but placing those well and giving Jefferson a chance to get them, there's absolutely worse things that you can do. And he had a nice... He had like a nice hole shot at one point that I thought was a very real throw. But there was a lot of inaccuracy and maybe a little bit too much of getting out of the pocket when it came to like doing anything over the middle.
He had weird moments out of the pocket. His flip. Yeah. Did you see his front flip?
Here's the thing. I thought that this would move him up your board wildly because it was kind of getting up cool, but it was also in part going down.
No, it was going down
well, which is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, I didn't think he looked particularly impressive staying on his feet out of structure, and then his accuracy was kind of all over the place today, and it cost him some third down conversions, like one real trust throw to Jefferson. Jefferson had to pick up off the turf, which it's a catch you'd still expect Jefferson to make because he's Jefferson. And Naylor had a chance to make a tough catch and it got picked. So it's like some of these things are kind of gray areas where it's like not totally inaccurate, but like, as Tom Brady would say on the broadcast, it's a B- throw. It's a C throw in situations where you'd want A's. But he also had an A throw to Jordan Addison early in the game that Addison dropped. And overall, he was clutch in the third third down late in the game. Looked like the Lions might have a chance to come back. It was third, and he hit a slot fade, I think, to Naylor. That was really, really pretty. Really pretty.
That was a great throw.
So kind of up and down from JJ, but far from looking like, the worst quarterback
I thought
in the league, that's kind of the
looked
fear
better than he did for like the first 3 quarters of that first game that he was playing. We were like, holy cow, this guy sucks. I mean, that's what you were thinking for that game. And then in the fourth quarter, he pulls it together. It's like, okay, then he didn't look that great. This I thought was like a pretty standard third game. You know what I'm saying? For a guy who didn't throw that many times, I'm not coming to a big conclusion off of it.
This one seemed like the kind of game that you thought of with the Vikings in the off season, where it's like the weapons are just kind of too good. And JJ, even if he's bad, there's still going to be
there will be some really cool, like,
one-handed catches from Jefferson.
Jefferson will do something awesome. The quarterback will have like some decent moments, some good moments, and then like the bad will be whatever. And the defense will go out there and like get a bunch of pressures or whatever, and it'll all be okay, and they'll have a chance even against good teams. It's exactly the type.
It's exactly what this game was. They started drives at let's see, I wrote it down, and I always lose my things that I write down.
They were killing them on special teams too.
Killing them on special teams. So I think they had a drive at the 25, one that started at the 36, and then maybe one more that started in opponent territory too. So good field position. They got a great kick returner. And the other takeaway I had from this game, which has to do with the Lions, I am kind of concerned about where Jared Goff is at mobility wise. Like he's kind of distractingly slow and distractingly, like he's never been a great creator, but I feel like there were points with the Lions last year where it's like, this is the peak of Jared Goff, like creation and pocket movement. Like he's never going to be good at it, but like he's
not a zero.
He's not a zero. And then this year he looks like a total zero, like moving around. It really is glaring how much of a statue he is. And I looked up the numbers. His EPA per play under pressure in 2024 was negative 0.24. Not concerning that it's a negative. Almost everybody's is negative under pressure. That's really not a bad number to be at, negative 0.24. This year he's at negative 0.73, which is getting to be concerning. Like you can round that up to a full point almost every time he's under pressure. 3/4 of a point, damn near every time he's under pressure is what they're losing. Just a 28% success rate under pressure compared to 37% last year. It's his worst numbers under pressure since I think the 2022 season in Detroit. So it seems
for them,
yeah.
I mean, I think Detroit's a really great, mostly complete team when they're 100%, of course. But we knew from game one, like, remember the concerns about how Micah just went in there and crushed, and they got stopped, and you're like, oh man, is the Lions' deep offense like just completely kaput? And the answer to that question is no. Like, their offense is still pretty good, but yeah, like the challenge for them going on a run is, if we get in the playoffs, is if we get to somebody who can pressure us consistently, either with like maybe a creative Vikings team or like, a superstar pass rusher, whatever.
The Rams, right? They can get
the
pressure.
Rams, who have this great front four, but maybe this weak back seven. Is Goff like able to handle that enough for us to get a win, or is it just a bad matchup? Because if it's just a bad matchup, it's going to be really difficult to just avoid that for 4 games in a row in the playoffs. You get nobody.
Or the Packers again with Micah. There. You got to see him again, and that wrecked the game for them last time.
Like, you're not trending towards being the number 1 seed at the moment, which is what you need to avoid again. So, like, it's gonna be a challenge if they can't find ways to better deal with the pressure here.
Yeah. I mean, the NFC North as a whole has become quite close as of late, with the Bears winning, the Packers losing. The Packers are 5-2-1, still number 1 in this division. The Lions and Bears are both 5-3, and the Vikings are 4-4 right now.
It's tight. This was a big evening out type of week for the NFC North. I think that's the biggest storyline in the league going out of this week, is like just how close the NFC North has become and how these 4 teams stack up. But I think it's still the most interesting division in football, and this week really made it that way. Flores take a bow, like blitzing is such a good strategy too, because it takes Gibbs kind of out of the game, because he's just not as good of a pass protector as Monty, and that became apparent in this one. So it's like, well, if they're lighting us up through these A gaps, like, we'll want Monty on the field, and we don't want to run with Monty, we want to pass with Monty. And with the interior pressure, Goff can't really get to the outsides. So like, why not blitz these A gaps at all times? Because when he's good versus pressure, it's because he can step up and it's because he's got the PhD in the dig windows and the crosser windows.
Yep.
But when you're blitzing those A gaps, he's got to get to the sideline and be explosive, and he just can't really do it, it seems like. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of teams in the NFC right now that are good matchups with the Lions. They're a good team, but I don't think that they're a great team with Goff. I really don't.
They could probably handle Chicago.
Oh yeah, I think they could handle.
Their defense is terrible.
Chicago. I mean, that's the other team we've got to kind of talk about here. Is the Thriller. I mean, I didn't watch a ton of it because I was watching
it's
other noon
you
games.
wouldn't have expected this game to be like a
lot of good games this week. Coming off of a terrible week. I mean, almost every single game was like interesting in some way and close in some way. We're gonna have to talk about a bunch of these in the Wednesday or the Thursday episode for sure. Yeah. But I didn't catch much of this one either, unfortunately, outside of the Loveland touchdown at the end. Hard not to think of the Minnesota Miracle with this one, with the tackling from the safeties there. We're
going to pretend that it was someone else tackling out there.
Don't tell me it was Battle Blaiden.
It was bad.
No.
It was
not good.
Not good.
And like the reports from like the locker room are that like none of the guys can believe it. And didn't Zach Taylor say like, what the hell happened or something? Maybe I'm totally getting
here's the thing. No, we don't have to like get super into it. I do want to talk about the state of Zach Taylor's like job security. Like
it's bad.
We know
it's terrible.
Marvin Lewis lasted 16 years and never won a playoff game. Zach Taylor has been to a Super Bowl. I don't know, dude.
I like what you're saying here, Blaiden. And is it Zach Taylor's problem that they can't? I mean, whose fault is it that Lou is gone? This is my question.
Because
whose fault is it that Lou Anarumo is gone? Because they drafted shitty players for years and then blamed the defensive coordinator for having a scheme that's too complicated, even though that scheme is what got them to those AFC championship games in the first place.
Like, bro, why can't you like develop these youngins? Like, I'm not my fault they're stupid, bro. Like,
so did Taylor make that call or did the owners make that call? Because if Taylor didn't make that call, it's like, well, did you just kind of like screw? Like, has ownership? They don't have a GM. Like, do they?
Right.
Like, they just like they're cheap. They're skimpy. Like, why would they fire Taylor and get in a new big name head coach? They're the Bengals. They are the Bengals. And what has Zach Taylor done that's so wrong anyway? You know, like.
People do like say like the play calling might be a little bit stale, but like
whose fault is it? Zach?
Joe Flacco had 470 yards and they lost the game. Man.
He's the oldest player ever to throw for 470.
470 yards is crazy, man.
Like, has Taylor designed a bad offense to feature these weapons and to feature Joe Burrow's skill set? Like, is it bad? Is it his fault that the line hasn't developed? Is it his fault that they don't go under center? Is it his, like, I just wonder, is it his fault Lou is gone? Like, maybe the answer is yes for all of these questions. But maybe yes. He is an asset coach.
But the answer could also be no. And
maybe the answer is no.
Maybe the answer is no. Like, I'm just saying, it's very possible that we see another 15 years of Zach Taylor.
Okay.
It's possible.
How old is Zach Taylor?
That's a great question.
I got us.
Is it his fault that his coaching tree is
42? We could get another 30 years of Zach Taylor.
We could a lifetime Zach Taylor.
With medical technology, we could get another 50 years of Zach Taylor.
And Caleb is the other guy I think I kind of want to talk about. I didn't, again, watch a ton of this game, so I don't know what kind of consistency he had from beginning to end, but he did score 50 points for me in fantasy football, so I assume he played good.
Damn, he got 50?
Yeah, he did. And he caught a touchdown. I think he caught another pass after the touchdown.
Yeah, he got 2 passes, and then he caught a touchdown. Yeah.
Beast.
But I'll say this, there was a lot of hand-wringing about him last week because I watched his film from the Ravens game pretty closely. And he has this reputation. I feel like, well, he can do all the hard things and none of the easy things. Like all he can do is run around and make one great play that keeps everybody in on him for 5 years, and nothing consistent, no fundamentals. And I just don't think that's true when you watch Caleb this year at all. And I don't think it was true in the Ravens game. Like, I do think that he makes calls at the line of scrimmage. If it's a blitz, he's gotten them into the right blitz look and thrown a beater and like made things like that happen, which maybe it doesn't happen all the time. He's not one of the best in the league at it or anything, but it's like the way people talk about him, you'd think it never happens. It never happens that he just sets his feet and throws. It never happens that he takes a safety's leverage into account and puts it on the back shoulder or something like that. It never happens where he just hits the top of his drop and goes through 1, 2, 3 and makes a throw on the backside. Like, these things never ever happen. It's like, watch the Ravens games. These things are happening. I get that they lost that game, and there's a bad pick too, where he threw a dig route late. So like, there's a lot to clean up with him in straight drop back situations. 100%. He's better off play action. They've been better running the football. I don't think he's lived up to the hype, but he's not like hanging by a thread. His career is not hanging by a thread or anything like that. He's shown legitimate signs of growth, I think, this season, and parts of his game and reps over the course of these games are very mature, I think, from him. It's not all just backyard football. So that's my Caleb Williams message without having watched much of the Bengals game.
Yeah, we'll have to maybe rewatch this game for the next episode and some of the other
very fair
that we're not going to get to. Because I mean, again, almost every single game was an interesting one. Broncos, Texans, I just didn't catch that much of.
I caught the end of Broncos Texans. I saw like this, and I saw like the horrible muffed punt from that the Broncos had. I was just like, oh my god. I am seeing Caleb Williams had over 200 yards passing, over 50 yards rushing, and
he had a great statistical day.
Has that ever happened?
I'm sure it has.
Maybe. It's the receiving that I'm like.
But the thing is that like, I feel like a quarterback has had 20 yards receiving. And then the other two qualifiers are not that crazy. I guess 50 yards rushing is tougher. 200 yards passing is like.
No, yeah, but I'm just like.
I guess to do all three.
To do all three sounds pretty.
But it's also like, who even cares? Like, a little bit like it's kind of a baloney stat if you're getting it off of receiving, I guess.
Now, if he had a touchdown in all three.
I have no idea. I'm sure someone's had a touchdown in all three.
Think so? Probably.
Taysom Hill's probably done it.
Running back has probably done it. Yeah.
You can throw.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry could have done it. He's thrown a couple touchdown passes in his career.
The only other thing I'll say just real quick before we get out, dude, the Tennessee Titans offense it's malpractice. Like I don't know what they're doing. They ran like 3 direct snap plays to their running backs on 3rd and short or like 2nd and short. Just like and they lost yards on all of them. I just don't know what they're doing, dude. They've got like Elick Aomanor just like trying to seal off Khalil Mack. I'm like, no, dude, it's like, no, it's like, why? I just don't know where they go from here, dude. I mean, drafting better is like number one, and like getting a real head coach.
Trading back, making a bunch of picks.
Yeah.
Rinse and repeat. I feel like if they get the number one
you've
pick.
already drafted the quarterback, so it's like, it's hard to be in like a tank rebuild type of mode, but like
trade him for Kyler and hire Cliff.
Trade him for Kyler. I mean, Cam Ward on the Cardinals. I'd watch that. Yeah, they're just sickening to watch. I mean, they had some good plays. They had a punt return touchdown and a pick six.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, dude, I mean, their offense is just pitiful. So that's all I just wanted to say. Titans fans, I'm sorry. Cam Ward, I'm sorry. I know you're dealing with a lot. But if there's nothing else, we can get out here. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Stay Hot. Shout out the OSU receivers. Shout out the World Series. Shout out NFL for being another banger. We'll be back with another episode here shortly. Make sure, again, if you're not subscribed to the Stay Hot Patreon, that you do subscribe to the Stay Hot Patreon. It's going to be a ton of fun there. I know Matt and Theo just did an NBA video, so make sure you go check that out. But until next time, as always, from your favorite three fellas here at Stay Hot, we will catch you on the flippity flop.